Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. It's November 24th. It's a Wednesday. We're going to talk about Longeveron, GME, some technical analysis, some options, the SPY. You know the deal. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter here at Happy Money YT. You're welcome to follow us on there, as well as our Discord server. It's in the description. So it was unfortunate, but today was another consolidation day. Which is somewhat typical. When you fall off a cliff, you don't just bounce back up. And it's only happened one time on GME where it's really surprised me, and I've gone over that. But yeah, this is more typical, at least after a move like this, to kind of trade flat, consolidate a bit before it either goes down or consolidate before it goes up. So longer term trend, we're still bullish. This is still, to me, a consolidation. We've got bullish MACD. We don't have any red open and closing under the 9 moving average yet. Today's candle's pretty much straddling it. We're still in this kind of upward trend. We've kind of made higher lows here. So everything to me still looks good. Not to say that Friday, the half day, it couldn't come down. It definitely could. But now we're in the new cycle, and the cycle of earnings run up. And will it play out like it has before? I don't know. They try and shuffle things around. They're typically a couple steps ahead. Once we figure out this, they've already changed it to do that. This being everyone that's short this stock that's in a massive position that they can't get out of. But as we see here, run up earnings. These E's are earnings. This one had a little bump and then earnings. Potentially these spikes already are the run up before earnings. I'm not too convinced yet. The volume was low. The covering, the rolling, all that was supposed to happen. I think it's still low. The DD that I've seen would lead me to believe that as well. But we're going to follow TA on this. We're still bullish, but this is one of those periods where we kind of just have to wait for a good entry, wait for a time that it confirms its direction. Confirmed its direction early on back here. This was its direction confirmed to me. Daily, bullish MACD, green over the 9, confirmed, boom, 3 days rips. That was really all you got out of this. If you played this right, could have been huge. This day was unpredicted. That was from news. I made money on these 2 days. I sold out everything right here and missed $250,000 on this day. Could have made $250,000. Didn't practice good risk management. Went too conservative and closed everything out top this day. Made good money on it. But since I was totally unexposed to this day never gave me a good entry. It was just running hot. So that day completely ripped up. I missed all of it. Caught some on the downside maybe, but that was unexpected. That was against TA because it was news again. But again, we are still bullish. So this was bullish since here. Even these big drops here and then this gradual climb up, MACD never flipped. So it stayed bullish all the way through. And we're going to see that again, I think. As you see, this MACD is coming down to get close to this signal, just like it did back here. So I expect probably consolidation. Rest of today, we got 40 minutes, and then even Friday. That being said, if the covering and all that stuff actually has to happen, we're looking at 10 million plus probably volume on a day and lots and lots of green. So we could possibly see that on the half day on Friday because tomorrow's closed. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Or it might not be till next week. And they announced their earnings is going to be Wednesday the 8th. So that's 2 weeks basically from today. So tomorrow's closed. Is a half day. So then we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That full week. And then just 2 days before earnings. So what we've had in the past is this was a run up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days before earnings was the peak on that one. 5 days before, but the biggest spike was another 5 days before that or 6 days before that. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if this was it. However, earnings, news, announcements, NFT dividends, NFT marketplace, crypto exchange off the stock exchange, whatever crazy stuff that could happen could change all of that. That's where shares are a great play. Options, unless if you're insider trading, you don't know what news is going to happen. Unless you work for the government and you have access to like a COVID crash and then you can sell all your positions and short the airlines right before they tank. If you have that sort of access, then you can know and play the options. But otherwise, pretty much just shares and exposure to whatever. So with GME, if you have a couple months out, that's good. But yeah, here's another one. Look, so earnings right here. Day before was the peak. So that was the day before. The other one was what, 6 days? Here's earnings. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days before. Was the peak, but it really actually kind of grinded up the next 2 days. So 9876. I'd say probably 6 days before earnings on that one too. So this was the day before. This was 6 days. That was 6 days. So even here, grinded up. Even back here before the first pinch, same sort of deal. November. This was the November rally. Before the pinch ever even happened, kind of consolidated, and then of course earnings, they dumped it. So we might see a dump after earnings, unless if there's news, like actual news where it's irrefutable. Then I think the earnings could actually be the liftoff for sure, if they come out with it. They have an announcement. So we still have days. 8th, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 days prior would be Tuesday. So that gives us the rest of today, half day Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday of next week. And that would be the earliest case scenario in my mind where it would rally and then stop from there. It's possible it'll rally all the way up until earnings, or not start rallying until late next week, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Tuesday. It likes to go on Tuesday for whatever reason. I've been up $100,000 on a Tuesday and down $100,000 on a Tuesday. Was it a Tuesday? I can't remember. Anyways, so it might not be till next week. I do have some exposure for next week. It could even be the week after. It's safer always to get time with options. IV has gotten high with all of this action going on in here. So spreads, or even just selling premium, put credit spreads, whatever your flavor of spreads. Yeah. So today, a bit of a letdown. I mean, given these 2 days of rallying up, we still actually haven't even given them all back. We're higher than we were, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. So these were good, but kind of a just false breakout, really. I'd say so. And if you have any question on GME, but you know about price action and how price action works, to me, it's like pretty clear evidence when you see something like this. What's going on? There was zero news for this rally. Why stocks don't just rally on nothing? What's actually happening here? Why is it up 40% this month? There's been zero news. So a bunch of people just decide to buy it? Okay, so that's not true. Okay, it's not just up on zero news and people just randomly decide to buy it. No. This is all from internal, all from them moving and shaking and moving their positions around and covering and closing and manipulating the stock. Okay, so it's up on no news, makes sense. And then all the retail that just bought in for some reason down here and drove the price up, 20-something% in 2 days, they all just decide to sell up here? What happened? Why is it, what happened? There's no news here either. And I get there's other mechanics behind it. There's the overall market. There was a bit of a sell-off in the overall market. So it's kind of a risk off, changing to a risk off market. So if we look at other stocks that kind of took a hit, GameStop typically would trade, I think, with value though, not with growth. So higher PE ratio stocks like a Tesla or something. Datadog's kind of a growth. You see a pretty big day that day for Datadog. What was the other one? Just these couple. So Confluence kind of had the same type of deal. So yeah, but this, if they're valuing it on the drops as a tech company that's high growth, high PE ratio, then they should be valuing it also on the upside as that, but they're not. This is conservative estimation if they're valuating it as a e-commerce tech company, right? So why would it sell off with these? It should be ripping up with other retail when the rotation goes from tech to growth. And I think we've seen that in the past. So to me, that argument isn't very valid right now with GameStop. Oh, well, that stuff sold off. It's not valued like Tesla. If GameStop was valued at Tesla, I don't know what the numbers are, but it would be probably $5,000 a share. Literally, if it had the same PE ratio of Tesla. I don't know exactly what it would be. You have to do the math, but it's nothing like that. And actually look at Tesla. It had that one sell-off day, and it's of course an epic bounce. GameStop shareholder base, I believe, if it's not already, will be stronger than Tesla's. You hear that? I think if GameStop's shareholder base is not already, I think it will be stronger than Tesla. Tesla has the strongest shareholder base of any stock as far as I'm concerned. with the longest and probably biggest short squeeze that's ever happened in the stock market. That's probably still kind of going on in a sense, just because of all the loyal shareholders, all the Tesla nerds and geeks. I'm one of them. And GameStop, I think, has already probably surpassed that. And if it hasn't, 100% once there's news, if they're doing anything with, I mean, especially if you're talking about off-exchange marketplace, I don't even understand what I'm saying when I say that. I just know it's huge. And that will bring on so many people. But even without that, with any sort of other news with the NFT space and buying and selling used video games, the shareholder base is already so loyal and so committed around the world. I think it's already surpassed Tesla in that sense. So that being said, we're early. Might look back on this 5 years from now like, oh, that Happy Money, he was so early, and all those dumb apes on Reddit. That could be back here on Tesla. Really, it'd be probably earlier than that, but maybe we're in like 2019 of Tesla. Maybe. Or like a 2016. I feel like it's probably closer, but maybe we're in a 2016. And, you know, this is just our point in Tesla. And at some point, it's going to get a bunch of money, bunch of investors, institutional, retail, everybody. And it's literally, these numbers are going to be silly because the chart's going to look more like this. And it's going to sustain it because it's going to be a short squeeze, and the shorts will close, and then it'll rip up, and then they'll think, you know what, it's overvalued, I'm going to bring it back down. They'll get back in, and the strong shareholder support will just hold and buy, and it'll just keep going, and it'll just keep going. I remember hearing about Tesla for years, and this stock is so heavily shorted. Oh, the shorts got burned. Oh, its PE is too high. Tesla, I think, is going to have a huge correction for sure. I think it'll come down, but where it's been, I mean, this is after splits and stuff. I bought Tesla when it was 300. I think the first time I bought it was 300 pre-split, like the last 5-to-1 split or 1-to-5, whatever. That was just a couple years ago, not even. So anyways, hopefully a little motivation, encouragement going into Thanksgiving. Honestly, this is really just consolidation, and even if it comes down, we find a lower support, we're looking good. We've had a nice steady upstream. Look at this for a whole year. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. They add volatility in there because they have to. They're screwed. Still above the 190 or 180 moving average here. If you look at the 200, which is more common, I think it'd probably be even lower, so it'd be higher up off of that. Coming into earnings, I'm pumped. Let's talk about options really quick. I don't have a whole lot of time. They're taking all my time. History, look at that. Bought, sold. Long Everon. How do you say it? Long Everon. Yeah, they had news on something. PRV. And it sent it rallying crazy. Apparently this has over 100% short interest also, and so it's maybe getting squeezed. I was in and out. I made 1,000 the other day on it. Sold out like here, ripped up there, missed out another probably a couple grand, but I'm glad because then it came back down. I jumped back in right here today after this consolidation. See, I was looking at it like this, overbought. I'm like, all right, I'll wait. I actually wasn't sure if it was going to keep going, but it ticked along, stayed above VWAP, consolidated. RSI came down. This is a 5-minute chart. MACD was starting to get close. It was probably like here, about this candle. I was like, this thing's grinding up. It's kind of a bull flag. Everything looks good. It's getting tighter and tighter, consolidation, the buying pressure. And then boom, I actually caught just this to this with, I think, like 200 shares. I actually sold out here, which was a good exit, actually, even though it did this. And then I saw this happening. I was like, all right, good. I got a good exit. Stepped away like here, and then it just boom, 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 boom. So we'll see. This thing might have a big sell-off after hours. This stuff, you got to be really careful and just honestly just take profits on it and either make shares free, selling half, or just constantly be getting out of it because it could have a big dump. I mean, who knows how high it'll go, but GameStop though, look at this. This is insane. They turn the volume back. Okay, that's another thing about this manipulation. There was all these, so there was 3 million that day, 4.3 million that day of people, okay, just buying. If you want to say this is just retail, a bunch of retail just buy. And then all of a sudden they just all decide to sell. And then what happened? Why would there be 3 million, 4 million volume 2 days ago? And today we're barely over 1 million and the day's almost over. Like, if this stock was so heavily traded 2 days ago, what happened? What in the world? This isn't normal. This isn't how stocks normally trade. See this? Average volume, maybe a couple spikes here and there. bunch of volume comes in. Okay, now volume's starting to taper off. But it's not. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. So the price action on GME has given me the conviction early on just how big of a play this is, and I guess how manipulated and how this isn't natural. And the fact that it's not natural is it's good and it's bad. It's bad because you're part of this big game and you have no control over it. It's good because it's a vulnerability to a massive amount of money that they don't have control of anymore. That's what I got. So yeah, our plays got screwed yesterday. Yeah, we're down. I don't even know what were we down yesterday. 40 grand, down 5 grand today. I mean, I did lock in some gains for sure yesterday. We shorted a lot of calls, and I still have exposure for end of week just in case we do have a rally, which I'm not really expecting that we have a rally in the half on Friday, but we have some exposure for next week. So I shorted 300 calls yesterday at the top. I also closed out of positions yesterday at the top. I'm grateful for that. So I did get some gains on this last 3-day move. So these calls netted me back 7,100. These calls got me back 4,700. The long calls I had here, sure, I could have made another 8 or 10 grand if I closed those out at the perfect time. Same with, well, that actually opened up as a spread. So yeah, so we're up overall. The rug pull that they did is you can't predict that kind of stuff. You just have to practice good risk management and try and cap some gains on your way up and take in some profits on your way up. For next week, I have this. Well, actually, for Friday, I have this put credit spread. So this thing actually, I'm probably going to just roll because I think we're going to have a run up before earnings, and I think it'll be above that price. So this is kind of big. I need it above 245 by Friday, which I don't think is going to happen. Max pain on us is 220 by Friday, and I think we'll probably hit that, if not higher. But I think we'll probably get to 220. Let's see, where's that right now? Actually, it was at 212. I think it'll probably rally back up to 220. Probably second half or the first half of Friday when it's open, we'll get a little bump. People get excited, get into calls, pay too much in IV over the weekend. However, we could have big news over the weekend. News often comes over the weekend, so I don't blame anybody for trying to get weekend exposure. So yeah, and then I also just have some long calls down 60% for next Friday. Got into those pretty early just in case today was just a huge weird V that defies TA, but if there's news, you don't know. And then yeah, I can roll that one. Also have a put credit spread here for next week. This one's more conservative. There's a 217.5. This is a bigger play. 15,000 max profit, 12,000 max loss. I need GME up around 217 or over that by next Friday. I'm kind of expecting it to be above that this week, but since I have more time on this, I'm not really going to have any profit on that until at least later next week, or if it really rips, then this will gain value. So yeah, I'm waiting to get more exposure for next week at this point. I think I have enough. I'm going to roll this put credit spread over for next week, and yeah. I was gonna say something very, very important. I totally forgot. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it looks good. We are. Oh, I wanted to show you the other account. So here we go. On this one, we probably did better, as well as the actually Weeble, because on Weeble I just sold. I sold those. I can't actually show you, but I sold the 255 and 250 calls on here. Made probably 5 grand on them. I sold them yesterday morning when it was kind of teetering. I was like, the RSI is super hot. If it doesn't just rip through it, there's no strength. It's gonna drop. I mean, I just kind of felt it. There wasn't a whole lot of TA to say it. We did see this divergence, but this isn't a divergence until this day finishes. Because if this day finished and it was higher and this RSI was higher, that's not a peak, right? Because this day brought it down and that made the divergence. So couldn't really catch that. But when this was teetering and then it was starting to come down, I'm like, this might be setting up a divergence. So anyways, close out on that. Made some on there. So overall, we're up on this spike. I'm just trying to get exposure to big, I guess, too big of money. I need to lock in some more, but I don't know. We'll see. I think I played it all right. So on here, I shorted. So remember, I got those 255 calls on here last week for this week's run up. Given, yeah, these were up like 10 grand a couple days ago. But then yesterday morning, I actually shorted these 300 calls. So that's the way I locked in profits on here. So 5,400, I locked in from that. So what that means is basically these calls the other week when I bought them, these 6 calls cost me $2,000. And then 2 days ago, I sold these 300 calls and received 5,600 for them. So no matter what, I'm up $3,000 on this play, right? If that makes any sense. And with this, I'll probably just run it to close and then close it out on Friday. So this will still make money as we come into close. As long as it stays below 300, we'll make money even if it goes above that. But this 255 call will make money if it rallies up today or on Friday. And this 300, it'll lose value or gain value, lose value to me if it rallies up, but not too much, because as long as it stays below 300, this will become max profit by expiration. So spreads are going to be kind of, I feel like, where it's at while this Ivy has gotten higher, and or selling put credit spreads, which that's why I'm just going to have a kind of a rolling put credit spread position. I'm rolling. Because they could bring it back down if this roll and cycle doesn't end up leading to our squeeze, the top of our squeeze where it just goes crazy, then it will probably come back down to a higher floor, which I would say would be 190, probably 180, 190, something like that, maybe 200, maybe this floor right here. That's if, that's after I think we're going to have a pinch, a bit of a pinch. If it doesn't kind of consolidate and keep going, then I think that pinch will get another big short attack like this, and it'll come down just like it did here, but instead of coming all the way down here and last this long, it'll be, I think, shorter lived and come down less, probably, yeah. Because as you see, each low has gotten a little bit higher. Even actually these two were much higher than this one compared to these two and this one. So this floor might be 200. We'll see. Or maybe there'll be a huge Volkswagen dip before we squeeze. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you waited this far, please thumbs up the video. Please have a good Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Love them. Cherish them while you've got them. They don't last forever. Trust me. And let's go GME. Thanks, guys. Peace out.